Hello and welcome to the Prelims PYQ discussion by Neenv. The theme for today's video is National Movement between 1940 and 1947. It's a very important period. You have 7 questions from this period repeated from very relevant themes. So it's important that you study PYQs considering the periods and its weightage. The first question, with reference to the proposals of Cripps Mission, consider the following statements. The Constituent Assembly would have a member nominated by provisional assemblies as well as princely states. Any province which is not prepared to accept the new constitution would have the right to sign a separate agreement with Britain regarding its future status. If you want to answer this question, you have to pay attention to the detailing in the statement. In the second statement, any province which is not prepared to accept the new constitution would have the right to sign a separate agreement. Now, this is something that was there even in the 1947 India Independence Act. So it is likely that the British will propose something like that in the Cripps Mission as well. But look at the first statement. The Constituent Assembly would have member nominated by the provisional assemblies as well as the princely states. In 1937 interim government was formed in India. So elections already took place in the provinces. If elections takes place in the provinces before Cripps Mission, is there a need to nominate members to the provisional assemblies? Now, that is the contradiction. The exact clauses, election to the provisional assemblies and nomination to the princely states. So this statement is wrong. So option 1 can be eliminated and B only becomes the right answer. Now, Cripps Mission, I'll give you some background information. It was sent in 1942 as during the time of World War II because Britain wanted India's support during that time. But Gandhi called it a post-dated check because it didn't have provision for complete independence. It only had provision for dominion status. Moving to the second question, the Radcliffe Committee was appointed to solve the problem of minorities in India, given effect to the Independence Bill, delimit the boundaries between India and Pakistan, inquire into riots in East Bengal. It's a very simple question because Radcliffe line is something that exists even now. The classic question in UPSC, whenever we talk about border disputes, we invoke the Radcliffe line. So this is an easy pick, delimit the boundaries between India and Pakistan. The name of the person is Sir Cyril Radcliffe. He was part of the Boundary Commission. The third question from 2015 prelims, with reference to the cabinet mission, which of the following statements are correct? It recommended a federal government. It enlarged the powers of Indian courts. It provided for more Indians in the Indian civil service. Now, the basic fact behind cabinet mission is it is something that was there after the Second World War. Something that was final in nature, something that was ready to give India complete independence. So now it's about devising India's polity. And we know that in the 1935 Government of India Act itself, Britain devised a strong provincial system for India, which means something like a federal polity. So this statement by all likelihood is correct. If that is correct, we can eliminate B and D. These two statements, if you know the provisions of cabinet mission, these are easy picks because there is nothing for the Indian civil service or for the enlargement of Indian courts because there is no need for them to do that in 1946. If you don't know the detailed provisions of cabinet mission, this can create some confusion. Otherwise, it's an easy pick. The correct answer is option A, 1 only. Both these are nowhere related to the cabinet mission. The fourth question, the plan of Sir Stafford Cripps envisaged after the Second World War. So it's a basic conceptual question. We just have to know what Cripps mission is all about. India should be granted complete independence. India should be partitioned into two before granting independence. India should be made a republic with the condition that she will join the Commonwealth. India should be given dominion status. Very easy answer because Gandhi called it a post-dated check because it didn't have the provision for complete independence. So this can be eliminated. Instead, what was there? Dominion status. So this can be selected. Partition is something that was still in progress during that time. The Lahore Declaration, the Pakistan Resolution, and it took a long time since 1947 till 1947 for partition to happen. So this can be eliminated. The republic means something like complete independence. The head of the state will be elected. So this also cannot be taken into consideration in the context of Cripps Mission of 1942. We have already explained the details when we talked about this in the first question. The next question is a chronological arrangement question. With reference to Indian freedom struggle, consider the following events: mutiny in Royal Indian Navy, Quit India movement, and Second Roundtable Conference. You have to order that. Now, going into the option combination will not do any help until and unless you know the chronology. Take the first option, mutiny in Royal Indian Navy. This was a mains question, and the question statement was, this is the last nail in the coffin of the British in India. If it is the last nail in the coffin, it is most likely to be the last event, because Round Table Conference, Quit India Movement, these are mass events. Quit India Movement is a mass event. Round Table Conference is something that is happening in the negotiation phase. So this will be the last option, and the only option that has the Royal Indian Navy mutiny or the RIN mutiny as the last option is option 3. As you know, the Second Roundtable Conference took place in 1932. Quit India Movement took place in 1942, and this happened in 1946. So there is clear difference between the timelines, and basic conceptual understanding will help you to answer this particular question. The next question from 2021 prelims, with reference to 8th August 1942 in Indian history, which one of the following statement is correct? First statement, the Quit India resolution was adopted by AICC. Second, the Viceroy's Executive Council was expanded to include more Indians. Third, the Congress ministries resigned in 7 provinces. Fourth, Cripps proposed Indian Union with full dominion status once the Second World War was over. So Cripps mission took place in 1942 itself, but this declaration of dominion status need not be a very important date. That's also a fact, right? So this is unlikely to be correct. This event, the expansion of Executive Council, is a part of a series of reforms that took place since 1909. So this is not something that has to wait till 1942. So this is also unlikely. Then you have 2. The Congress ministries came into power in 1937 interim elections. Interim government came and they resigned when Britain joined India in the Second World War, and this took place before this. Cripps mission was sent to seek India's support in Second World War, so this is after that. And Quit India resolution was launched on 8th August 1942 when Gandhi gave the call for do or die. This happened in the Congress session at Gwalior Tank on 8th of August. Apart from Quit India movement, other resolution involving civil disobedience movement against British rule was also launched, and I have already told you about the do or die resolution that was passed in the same meeting. So this is a very important date. There are certain dates like the launching of Swadeshi movement that was also asked in UPSC prelims. Some dates, not all of them, are relevant, and these dates have to be studied with due attention. The last question in this video, in the context of colonial India, Shahnawaz Khan, Prem Kumar Sehgal and Gurbaksh Singh Dhillon are remembered as. You have 3 specific names and 4 events. Leaders of Swadeshi boycott, members of interim government, members of drafting committee, officers of Indian National Army. You cannot use a lot of logic here. You should know the names pretty clearly. Interim government had some 15-16 members or somewhere around 20. So every name has to be remembered to identify this. Constituent Assembly had an even bigger limit, and we only know the very prominent names like Ambedkar, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Then you have the Swadeshi movement, the leaders of whom are handpicked, and they are not among that. So this option is something you can eliminate, but there will be confusion among the 3 other options. These 3 names are important because these 3 people are very well known for a very significant event, which is the Red Fort trial. They were the most trusted, senior most officers of the Indian National Army, trusted officers of Netaji, Shahnawaz Khan, Prem Kumar Sehgal and Gurbaksh Singh Dhillon. They belong to 3 different religions, and this is one of the reasons why there was higher unity among the Indians across religions during the Red Fort trials. So if you know the background of Red Fort trials, this is an easy pick because these names are important in that particular event, which took place in 1946. So that's the discussion. We had a lot of questions in a short period, 1940 to 1947. So it's important that you give due importance to the events, names and dates of things that took place as part of the national movement in this period. Thank you for listening.